Hi guys, good evening. Thank you for tuning in. We are HybriteQ. When Akshika approached us to do a small program about the startup scene in Sri Lanka, basically about how we got into the scene, where we are now, what we are doing. We were actually really thrilled. The thing was, we couldn't start this earlier because all of us, even Akshika's team and our team, we were busy with a lot of things, and also at the end of the day, we found time, and we are here to talk to you about the startup scene in Sri Lanka, what you need to do to get into the scene, and how you need to do and how you need to survive in this environment. So basically, to give a small introduction about ourselves, we are not yet another tech startup in Sri Lanka. What's unique about us is that we are Sri Lanka's first sports technological company. But that being said, we don't only focus on sports technology. We are into a lot of other activities as well, lot of other aspects as well. So, on a note on our introduction, my name is Rashad De Silva. I'm one of the co-founders, and I'm also the head of marketing and sales. With me, we have.
Hi guys, I'm Surat Gajanayaka, and I'm the CEO of HybriteQ. And
Hi, I'm Dinuka. I'm also a co-founder of HybriteQ Solutions, and I'm also the director of product development.
And I'm Janaka. I'm also a co-founder of HybriteQ, and I am the head of R&D.
So basically, what we are focusing about today on the topic that we are going to discuss today is mostly the questions that people have asked us and questions that youngsters have approached us with. So basically, we have five main questions, five of the biggest questions people have asked us, and people are still asking us. And through each of these questions, we'll be telling you what we did and what we went through, so that you can do the same thing. And if when we have the mistakes are it, you guys can actually skip those. You guys can overcome those. So first, talking about the ideas. The ideas is actually how we started HybriteQ Solutions is actually it's actually interesting because all of us, we come from the same school. We are actually batchmates. So during A-level times, I knew Surat personally. So both of us had this passion to do something different, to actually make a change. So we were talking about all these new innovations and stuff. But to be frank, I'm not a very big tech guy. But Surat himself is an engineer. So we were talking about what should we do and what are the new things that will make our lives easier and all. So at that time, we didn't have a clear idea on what to do, on how to approach this, how to get the funding, because all we had in our mind is that startups, you need millions of rupees in the start. Otherwise, you won't be able to get it off the ground. And that was the mentality we were in. And actually, that's the mentality was created at that time, because there weren't as much as startups back then as we have now. And people, like through SCF, what we are doing right now, people didn't used to do that. So youngsters like us back then, we didn't have any idea on what we were going to do, what we were supposed to do, and how we need to approach this. So what's important here is that people like us, we give you ideas so that you could follow them, you could listen to them. It might not match your ideas, it might not go with your perceptions, but it will certainly help you. So that's how we wanted to start something in our own. And actually
we discussed with Dinuka and Janaka during our school days, and we all were there at the Young Inventors Club, no?
Yes.
And we got some cool ideas when we were the A-level students, and actually we didn't have that engine to launch our ideas. The hardest part is not generating ideas, but how to make it into action.
Profitable and
profitable. Yeah, at that time we had a lot of ideas. We had 101 ideas, but all of those ideas were so inside the box, and we just couldn't. We had a couple of good ideas, but we didn't know how to execute them. We didn't know how to put it into plan. So it was actually in the beginning of undergraduate years we actually started. We actually gave this some serious thought, and it was a bit later we kicked it off, we took it off the ground. So
Yeah. So currently now we have we are the first.
Only
yeah, we are the
Sports
first and the only sports technological company. Is because this is interesting. When people ask us, you say you are the first sports technological company, and they say, what sports technology? So basically, what we do is we bring together technology and sports. Right, sports scene in Sri Lanka is itself huge. Even though we are going through dark times with some sports, it's still huge. There's a huge fan base, but all we need to do, and what we understood, that we should actually hype things up by introducing the technological fact to the sports industry. So we gave it a thought, because as if right currently the sports analytics scene is also getting in, and people are now looking into sports analytics and so on. So why not bring in technology as well?
Yeah,
Right.
currently everything goes with numbers, right? So everything is evaluated by the statistics. So you have the sports should also embrace that culture.
Yeah, because what you need to understand is that this is the 21st century, and information is the key. Information is actually more than information, data is the key. Information, data, the difference between data and information is that data is the processed information. So data is the key actually. Whether you are in a company, whether you are fighting a war or whatever you do, information is the key. So if you have the reliable, the accurate information, you can do impossible things. So that is what we focus on. Through our devices, we focus on gathering this information and providing outputs or features that has an immense impact on the lives of the sportsmen, and of course the lives of the viewers as well. So the first lesson actually is to get an idea. Take one. You might have 101 ideas. You might you guys, when you guys get together, you might want to do this, you might want to do that and this. You'll come up with great ideas, but the trick is this: is it profitable? Can you make money out of it? Because honestly, you start a business, you start a startup, it's a business, right? People do it for the passion, and also you do it with a business mentality. So there's no point if you introduce a product and actually there's no benefit for you and for the people who use it. It'll be just another application or just another software where the usage, where the output is minimum, where you don't get a lot of advantages. Don't do that. I know the first instinct is to go ahead with the ideas that you have. Please don't do it, because you
Yeah,
might.
it's okay to do the brainstorming yourself and get the ideas, list them down, but shortlist them.
Yeah.
You have to do the shortlisting part. That's the most crucial thing.
But you have to ask the question whether it is disruptive.
Yeah. That's the most important thing. Your idea should be disruptive. It should have a wow factor.
Yeah, because that is one of the key factors. It should be disruptive. It should disrupt the market. So with each and every, it can be an application, it can be a software or a device or whatever it is.
It can be even a food item.
Yeah, even a food item.
Yeah.
Who knows?
If you're doing the same thing everyone else do, you won't get many advantage.
Yeah, because you'll be entering a market where there is perfect competition, and we are not saying it's impossible. It might be possible, but you need to think out of the box and you need to come up with great ideas that can actually help. So we as a company, HybriteQ Active, what I told in the beginning was also, we don't, even though our flagship arm is sports technology, we don't focus only on sports technology. Even though we spend a lot of hours and hard work into it, even though we pour our soul and mind to it, we focus on a lot of other things as well. For an example, we have three.
Is the thing that we deal with the home automation. and factory automation and industrial needs. So we are mainly into the sports application, but we have other revenue models also.
So yeah, when talking about HybriteQ automation as well, we have started operations, and we are working with some of the big names in the Sri Lankan industry, whether it's the tech industry or the textile industry. We're working with big names, and they're willing to work with us because they've seen what Sri Lankan startups can do, and they have their faith in the Sri Lankan startups. So they don't think twice to hire you. It doesn't matter whether you have 1 year or experience, 2 years or 6 months. They have faith on the fact that if you are a Sri Lankan startup of it might be University of Moratua or KDU or SINEC, which is we are all from Janak and Dinuka are from Moratua, Surat is from KDU, and from SINEC. It doesn't matter if they have faith on Sri Lankan startup.
It doesn't matter where you come from, but
Yeah.
you have to have the mindset of
Yeah,
innovation.
yeah. The secret behind a successful startup is the teamwork. You should have a extremely good, a coordinated core team. Otherwise, the most of the startups have failed not due to their technical errors or not due to their product failures, but due to their team lack of confidence among the team members. So you should have a very good, clear idea.
Diverse. Very
Diversified team, and among the team you should have a very clear understanding about your roles and about your views and everything.
So on that note, it's actually Dinuka and Janaka, they are computer science engineers, all right, and Surat is a mechatronics engineer. I'm no engineer actually. I have a degree in logistics and transportation. So it's funny when people actually ask us, when we meet people, they ask us, "You did logistics. How did you get into an industry like this, a company like this?" So, and while some people say that, some people actually admire, some people say the secret to your success is your team,
Yeah,
which we believe is actually
more the diversity, more the chances you can survive.
Yes, because Dinuka and Janaka, they are engineers. They focus on the product, on how to develop the product, how to make it more advanced. Surat and I, we don't focus on we actually look into it, but our main focus is to know whether it's profitable and how we need to take it to the market. Because the thing is this, when you have a lot of, I'm not saying this is wrong. It's not wrong. Please don't misunderstand me. But when you have, or when your team comprises of all tech guys, you might come up with good ideas. You will definitely come up with ideas that will, I don't know, disrupt the entire world.
Yeah.
But the marketing fact, or the fact itself, that is it sellable? Okay, will it make a difference? Thinking out of that box, because you, for 4 years, you've been learning about technology, you've been meeting tech people, and your mindset is fixed to that industry. And taking your mind, thinking out of the box might be difficult for you. So always make sure, this is not compulsory. We are not saying you should have someone from this university or someone with this background in your team. It doesn't matter. But always make sure that your team members know what they exactly do. For instance, it doesn't matter if all of those guys are tech guys. Make sure these people focus on the tech guys. Make sure these people focus on the marketing and the sales and so on. Because at the end of the day, what matters the most is actually everything matters the most. To be frank, everything matters the most. Your product matters the most, and how you take it to the market matters the most. Because if you don't have the product, there's nothing for you to take to the market. And even though you have your product, if you can't take it to the market, then there's no use as well.
And if I add some note to the success story, or the up to now of our company, that there are a few factors behind our current success. The main thing is the passion for what we are doing. We guys actually are passionate for the sports tech, so that's why we are able to get successful results. And also the self motivation. We don't have any managers or any above hierarchy to motivate us or to pressurize us. It's all about ourselves. So we should set our timelines, we should set our targets, and we should reach them. We should evaluate ourselves
As we go on.
as we go on. So it's all about you and your confidence.
Yeah. So make sure you have a vision and you make sure you stick by it.
And also you have to delegate your tasks. Don't grab all the things that I know this, I know the tech, I know the marketing. There are versatile people that they can deal with a lot of stuff. But in a company, you should identify your role well. If you are interacting with, if you are not understanding your role well, then it will be a lagging point for your company. So task delegation is another important point once you are doing a startup.
Yeah. And moving on to our second biggest question is actually putting ideas into work. What we say is, and what a lot of experienced people have told us, is just get it done. Get it done. You might, if you have a great idea, if you have a great product, if you have several go-to market strategies, if you have several business models, get it done. Don't wait for the perfect time, because there won't be a perfect time.
Yeah, go for there will be a lot of pitching competitions, and like we did on Mora Ventures and Disruptive. There are a lot of competitions like that. Participate for them, but don't participate in too many. No?
Yes, I mean there are competitions. It's good that you participate, but try to understand your vision is not to, your mission is not to participate in competitions only.
Like hackathons.
Yeah.
You can't throw the idea you have or the prototype you have built by overnight, by one day. You have to continue with it.
Yeah, continuous research and continuous product development is necessary for your survival.
Yeah,
as a startup. It's not just a one-night game. So
yeah, so and don't compete in every game, that every competition that comes in your way, because your final objective is to launch the product and to become an actual company. It's good that you compete. The main advantage in competitions like this is that, and one of the main goals of the organizers is that they create the environment or the space so that young startups, young people get in touch with investors and they create the space, the ability for them to be a part of that network. The publicity that they give you, it's because no publicity is bad publicity. That's something a great man once told us. He said that no publicity is bad publicity, and yes, and we believe it and we accept it. So try to keep that in mind, because it's okay if you compete, but try to have a plan and stick by it. And the thing is when you go for the market, when you want to launch a product, networking matters. People that you know matters. So in these competitions, you will meet important people. You will meet CEOs, CMOs, CFOs, co-founders and founders of startups, big people in Sri Lanka, and most of these people are generous enough to fund your operations, to give you that advice, to mentor you. So the main thing about competing in competitions is not only winning. You don't have to win. It's the networking, it's the people that you meet that matters. When you go for a competition, if you win, it's good, but don't just come back home and celebrate your win, because that's not what you need to do. If you win, it doesn't matter if you win or not. Stick there, wait there, talk to people, go introduce yourself to people, because sometimes people might not come to you. You will have to go to them. So always go to people, talk with them, get your idea out, just be confident, and that's what you need to do if you are taking part in these competitions.
Yeah, and also as a tech company, our main engine is the research. Right? Without research, without innovation, there wouldn't be any survival for HybriteQ. So it's actually Janaka's area.
Yeah. The research, the most important thing is research, because as Surat said, without doing research, you can't bring new ideas into the market.
Yeah.
That's what we, as we also
So
said in-
basically the methodical research, not just doing a research for the sake, but first you have to, once you have an idea, brainstorm about it and shortlist your ideas and think, validate your ideas, think whether it can be sellable, or whether there's a return for your idea. So after shortlisting and after validating your idea, you can start researching for patents and prior arts, whether someone has done earlier. So basically, what in our
yes, for an
R&I,
example, product this one period back, we looked into the features we can extract.
That's
Actually, yeah, we had to list them out and filter out what are the possible things we can give for a cricket player.
Yeah.
And then we need to what actually market needs, actually what the players need. Because we need to look into that aspect.
Yeah, you have to identify the vacuum in the particular market or the particular segment.
Yeah, this is about the cricket, the Strike Master 1.0. Yeah, if you are watching this, if you know who we are, then you might know our product as well, which are one of the main products that we have, which is the Strike Master 1.0. It's basically a betting performance analyzer for cricket. The reason why we chose cricket is because it's the biggest game in Sri Lanka and in the world, and
over 3 billion viewers.
Yeah, over 3 billion viewers, and it's going through a bit of a dark time. So we find it our responsibility as well to just bring our team back up, bring the standards of cricket back up. So that's why we came up with the idea of Strike Master. How we came up with the idea is also quite fascinating.
We guys were just talking at the university premises about what we can do, and suddenly Janaka came up with an idea, and actually
my friend told me that.
Yeah, even Janaka has got from one of his friends, and we actually brainstormed about that idea for about 2 to 3 weeks, and
we built prototypes.
We built prototypes in
Yeah.
different devices, and also we did prior art and patenting searches, and we found out that it was a very innovative idea, and there's an inventive step in that idea. So after developing the prototype, we after about 1 month we developed the MVP.
Yeah, and what we learned from that is that when we developed Strike Master and we inserted these several features, we initially put like a lot of features into it, but none of us are professional cricketers. So what we did, actually, down the line we realized, hey, even though we have these features, is it actually, is there an advantage for the cricketers? So we talked to our friends. We have more than 90 cricketers, actually 85, 90 cricketers. We talked to each and every one of them through the friends that we had who are professional cricketers now. So linking back to the point where I said networking, communication matters is actually proved, because we got to all those cricketers through our friends who are in the cricket community, who are professional cricketers. So we discussed with the cricketers and we learned, this feature is good, this feature is not, we should have this, we should develop this feature more, and that is how we developed each feature. So when you have a product, always when you come up with it, even after the MVP or even before the MVP, if it focuses on a specific market, make sure you approach the people who are in the market. Make sure you approach the customers, the people who are going to use it, and see whether they actually need these features, need these outputs.
You have to validate it from the point of view of the user.
And also, if I make a note about patenting, actually as a tech company, patenting is one of key major factors, because even for the investments that we take, we have allocated a certain portion for the IPs, and here currently we have 2 local patents filed and 1 world patent filed. So all are for the sports products. So as a tech company, you need to have that intellectual property protection otherwise you can't survive in the market, because there are a lot of people looking at you and to grab your tech.
Yeah.
So
And surviving in the market is also important, and you need to know how to get into the market as well. Brand fit is actually one of the most important things when it comes to a startup, because you are new to the scene. People might not know who you are, people might not know your idea or know your product. So like I said before, no publicity is bad publicity. Networking matters, communication matters, and be creative, because marketing is actually persuading others to buy your product. Because this concept was actually a very important concept back then, which was, people always said that the customers don't know what they want. It is up to the companies to bring products and make customers buy them. But this is now actually this has expired. This concept has expired. Always keep in mind that the customers know exactly what they want, and if you can't deliver, you will not survive in the market. So linking to the validation point, the reason why we validated, the reason we were able to polish up our device is because our customers knew exactly what they wanted, and that's how they told us, this, we need this, we don't need this. So if not, otherwise we wouldn't have known. So always keep in mind that the customers know exactly what they want. It's up to you to make it innovative, to make their lives easier and come up with a greater device, or it might be a device or a software, like I said.
yeah, and it's very important to do continuous innovation. Don't stop from one innovation, continue, because that pipeline, innovation pipeline should be there if you are a tech company. Because one innovation, yeah, you can penetrate the market with that for about 2 to 3 years, and after that, what will happen? So you should have that pipeline, innovation pipeline. So that's those are the key areas that,
Yeah.
Even for the same product, you need to keep the mind.
Even
that's
for the
true.
same product,
Yeah.
it might be the same product, and
Versions.
make sure you have several versions of it. You have Strike Master 1.0. In a couple of months, you'll have Strike Master 1.1, 0.2, and so on. So the cannibalistic effect also matters. Make sure your device competes with your own devices, and so that you make that perfectly competitive market.
And there should be something which can't be copied by the other companies easily.
Yeah.
So you have to have a very advanced kind of stuff, the cutting edge technology.
The cutting edge technology. And this brings us to our fourth or fifth question rather, is how we are going to launch the product. People, a lot of youngsters actually ask us what we need to do when launching, and what things that we are supposed to do. So most important thing is to have a roadmap. Build your roadmap along with your device. You make sure you know what to do and when to do it. Launching the product, or the launching a teaser for marketing, talking with investors, and coming up with other devices that could be integrated with your device, and so on. So make sure you have a plan, make sure you have a roadmap. And the second is actually the launch plan. Your marketing guys will say we need to launch the product now, but your tech guys will say no, we need more time. So make sure you compromise and you come up to a conclusion. You decide what is the best time for your company to launch the product. And here you need to understand is, you don't need to have all the features in the first version of your product. You can have the basic features, the certain important features. Get the device out, and then you can update it. You can add more features through your next version. So don't wait until you have the whole package with you. Launch it and then keep adding up. So remember, when you're launching, have a good plan, have a roadmap for your device, have a launching plan, and also listen to advices. Listen to people who have been there, and when you talk to people, you will know, yes, we need this idea, we can use it, and no, we don't need this, we might not be able to use it, or we'll just keep it for now and we'll just think about it later. So listen to advices, listen to what people have to say, because most of the people out there, they've been here, they've gone through this, so listen to their advice. And fourth thing is filter them out. Even when you launch a product, people might approach and say, hey, why don't you add this feature, why don't you add this feature? So it's okay to listen, it's okay to take their advices, but always keep in mind, it is you that will be launching the product, it is your tech guy that will have to work on it. So make sure they can actually do it and launch the things that you actually can, because down the line when you expand, you'll be able to do miracles, you may be able to come up with great things. But for a starter, make sure you launch the perfect thing. It might be little, it might be small, but make sure it's perfect, make sure it's flawless. And the other thing is don't drag. Say, okay, fine, tomorrow, no, this week we can't, maybe next week we'll launch.
Keep proper timelines.
Yeah, like we said, keep a proper timeline, stick to it, don't drag. And yeah, and finally and most importantly, like we said, understand the market and add features according to it, add features that benefit the others. So to go through all the things when you launch, make sure you have a roadmap for your device, make sure you have a great launch plan, listen to advices, filter advices out, and don't release the whole package at once, because you will not be able to do it. At the beginning you'll have limited resources, limited people, so stick by a set of features, make sure it's perfect, and launch your product. And finally, make sure you have a clear understanding about your market. So
for the youngsters, in the point of view of a founder, that once you are growing, the key factor is be humble.
Yes.
Be down to earth towards people, and be humble, because if your idea is disruptive, it's sure that you're gonna hit the market, right? You're gonna hit the market within very shorter period of time. So yet you should be with the people and be humble to your people. That is very important for your...
Yeah, because once you become a billion-dollar startup, always remember where you came from. Always remember those little moments that you spend on brainwashing and taking advice from people, and always give something in return. When you're a billion-dollar startup, always look into the Sri Lankan startup scene. Always just identify what are the good products. We're not telling to filter out only the good products. The people might come with different ideas, and you might think these ideas are crazy, but if you think about it, it can actually make a difference. So once you make it big, once you're a billion-dollar startup, always be humble, always help others, help the other startups, because Sri Lankans can actually make a difference. Because we are making a difference here, we are making a difference in other countries, in the Silicon Valley, everywhere around the world, we're making a difference. So once you're big, always help the others out. Don't just kick the ladder. Just hold the ladder tight and make sure it's stronger than ever, so that people, younger people, can climb it, and they might even overtake you. They might even become more successful than you. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, build the ecosystem.
Build that ecosystem, because one cannot survive without the other. It doesn't matter if they become more successful than you. You might actually need them, then they might actually need you. So don't be jealous, always be humble, but know your limits. That's a clear difference between helping people out and knowing your limits. But know your limits, and also always help each others out. So on a summary, let me just go back, just summarize everything that I told from the beginning. Key to success is your team. Make sure you have a good team, a great team, and make sure you have diversity in it. And even though you don't have diversity, it's okay. Yes, and you need to understand each other, and you need to segregate the workload. That's number one. And number two is get an idea. Is filter out ideas, brainwash it, stick to one idea and use it. Have a vision, basically have a vision and stick to it. And number three is get it done. Don't wait for the perfect time to launch the product. Just get it done. Okay, but make sure it's flawless. Make sure it's perfect, but get it done. And the next is the brand fit or your marketing. Make sure you understand your market. Make sure you know your market, and support your marketing guys. Be creative. Think out of the box when you market. Yeah, and think about your market. And finally, the launch. Have a plan, have a launching plan, have a roadmap, listen to advices, filter out advices. Don't launch the entire package at once, launch it gradually. And actually, we can't just put all the things into a limited time and just get it out. It's a challenging journey.
And also a startup journey is personalized, because your startup journey might not be ours.
Yeah.
It's personalized for your for every startup. So do your work in your phase. Don't have a competition. Don't set a competition with another startup, because you have your own journey. So make your own timelines to fit your product and reach those targets, because no one will supervise you. It's you yourself is the person who are going to supervise you.
Yeah, and this journey is challenging. It's tough,
Yeah.
and it's actually great.
Many
At the same time,
sleepless nights.
they have sleepless nights. Dinuka and Janaka, I mean, they'll tell you how many nights they've been awake developing our products.
Sometimes Janaka forget his dinner and his meal.
Yeah, the dinner and meal, and if you look at it, I mean, he sometimes his fingers shake. I was like, I asked him what's wrong, and he's like, I've been coding the entire night. And like, oh my god, like, are you? I mean, yeah, you will have different phases. Yeah, you'll go through different things. It will be challenging, and yet it will be fun, and you'll create these memorable, these memories. You know, all these little memories that will mean a lot for you. So, at the end, on a very special note, we would also like to say, your startup, it might be successful at the end of the day, or it might not. But don't back out just because you fail. Failures are life's best lessons. We've failed a lot of times. We've come up with a lot of ideas that investors have just thrown out of the window, right? So make sure, it doesn't matter if you fail, right? The reason for success is actually not failing, and not failing is actually through experience, and experience is actually through failing. So you fail, you gain experience, and then you gain experience, you make sure you don't fail again, you don't do that mistake again. So it's okay if you fail. Sleep it over and start again. If you fail again, then start again. One down the line, you will find that one breakthrough and stick by it. So those are some of the few areas that we thought would be important to all the young guys out there, to all the people out there.
Questions.
Yeah, if you have any questions. Yeah, we have a.
How do you balance between tech
features and
business models?
Yeah, it's actually like we said, make sure you have people that look into the tech side and also the business side.
And have a good coordination between two departments.
Have a good coordination between, and always have several business models, like we said. Don't stick to one. Have several business models, have several revenue models for each business model. Like, for an instance, Strike Master is our second device. We actually launched a device before, a water polo marking system, which was launched last year. So for what we learned from that, we applied to device Strike Master. And in Strike Master, what we had, we had
5 revenue models.
Yeah, we had 5 basic business models, and for each model we had a revenue model. So when you approach the market, you will be hitting all the corners of the market. You will not be focusing on one. For an example, it's like, for an instance, take a cricketer. A cricketer will play ODIs, T20s and test matches. If he only focuses on test matches, then he'll be only playing test matches for the rest of his life.
Legends.
So yeah, all the legends, all the stars, they play all
Three
sorts
formats,
of games. So make sure you touch all those areas in the market, not just one small aspect of the market. So have several business models, have several revenue models.
Yeah, the balance actually happens because two departments are working in par for the product development as well as developing the business models and the expansion of the market. So that's how we create the balance between two aspects. And
Yeah, and is there new products to be announced? Yes, actually we have several products.
all are pertaining to the sports
Sector, because right now we're focusing on cricket, but we'll have a device for cricket, polo, badminton,
Actually,
tennis, and so on.
we are expanding this Strike Master to tennis, and baseball, and golf also. All the racket sports will be covered under that. Our next will be for tennis, most probably.
Yeah.
So it will also be an attachable sensor, so you can get your performance analysis via your phone app, similar to the Strike Master. So we are also launching the Strike Master
At the end of
September. So
the first version of it.
yeah, Strike Master 1.0. You will see that in the market less than month's time.
Yeah.
And we have some confidential products also.
Yeah, some ongoing researches are there, but due to the confidentiality, we can't disclose them.
Yes, and actually, people are. Is it only cricket that we are focusing? Is it actually batting that we are focusing? Well, our first product is for batting, but down the line we'll be introducing devices to get statistics from the bowlers, so that we could integrate those with Strike Master and then make that perfect device. So our final goal is actually for cricket is to implement what we call a smart net concept, where you just have to book the net, the cricket net, the indoor net, or maybe you just have to go and you'll have this kiosk, you'll have all our gadgets there, and that these of course will be giving them out to the cricket clubs and academies, so that they could use this and operate. So you basically can go to the net, the smart net, and select the options whether you want the ball to be a fast ball or a spin ball or whatever, and then the bowling machine will deliver the particular ball that you selected, and then you'll play the shot, and then our system will tell you how powerful your shot is and whether the shot is actually will it go for a boundary or a six, because in the nets you'll have no idea whether the shot will go for a boundary or not. Basically the trajectory and the speed, you'll not know those things, and we'll be providing those things as well, and you'll be able to replay the shots and see what you did wrong. So
basically a total integrated system for cricket practicing. So that is our prime target. And
so yeah, when if your coach is not in the country, if it's his outstation, you don't have to stay at home and just take the day off. You can go to the nets and you can practice, and you can send the data to your coach, and then by the time your coach comes, he'll be able to assist you. He'll be able to tell what to do.
That's it.
The water polo thing is actually it's a visual marking system. We launched it last year in the Heyman's trophy, the water polo match between Royal College and St. Thomas's, and we are going to do it this year as well. We've been told that we need to implement it this year as well. So you'll be able to see that as well. Basically, what it does is it demarcates the 2 meter and 5 meter lines, and when a player scores a goal, the light on that side will blink, so that it will give us more indication, more visual indication to the people high in the stand. So that is all about our visual marking system. And Yeah, like we said, we have several other companies. It's not sports technology that we are focusing on. We have HybriteQ Automated, which is already on.
In operations,
Yeah, we are dealing with some of the big names in Sri Lanka. We have HybriteQ Aegis, it focuses on cyber and network security.
it also has
HybriteQ,
started operations.
it also started operations, and we are not allowed to actually say who that is due to a certain legal
Non-disclosure.
agreement. So we have that, and we have HybriteQ, where we focus on developing applications, and that makes your life more easier.
It's okay to deal with several fields, but the most important thing is your focus. Yeah, just as Osad said, the legendary cricketers have engaged in all three formats: Test, One Day, and T20. But they never fail. But they have their focus. So that's the key to success. And the adaptability, adapt to the situations. So those are the things.
And I think there's time for one last question. Webinar, how do you go from an idea to where you are? What would be the best path to take? So well, the best path actually depends on your product, and depends on who you are and what market that you cater to. So we being a tech company, we just can't say this is the best path for you to take, because we will not be doing the right thing by you if we say so. So taking your product, look at the question again. Yeah, idea to where you are is like what we mentioned before. Have one idea, polish it up, and discuss it with the other team members, your marketing people, your sales people, your tech people, and just polish it up and launch the device first, and through the suggestions, through the comments, you'll be able to update, you'll be able to upgrade rather your device eventually. And
That's it.
that is it from us. Thank you, SEF, for actually giving the opportunity for us to tell what we have done and what we did, so that we could educate the young startup enthusiasts, the people out there as well. So
Entrepreneurs.
so I hope all the youngsters out there, if you stick with SEF, you'll be able to see a lot more from several other startups, and you'll be able to get all these ideas. So get all these ideas, because back in the day we didn't have this. That's why we didn't know what to do and where to start, and
we had to guide ourselves. So.
And also we still have certain people that still back us up. So make sure you have such people. Make sure you have people who would always back you up, your mentors, because they're really important to you. And yes.
So our prime target is to make a local Silicon Valley here.
That is not only our dream, but that is in the
dream of entire
the entire startup community as well. So yes, you can do that. Also becoming the billion. The reason why we said we are becoming the next $1 billion startup.
Unicorn, first unicorn.
Yeah, because for instance, if we take Strike Master, we actually have over 100 of pre-orders as of today, over 100, and we haven't launched the product yet. So and our device is actually, we have several revenue models. If you log into our website www.hybritech.com, you'll be able to see what our device is and what our basic what our price tags are. So we have over 100 pre-orders, and we are looking at a sale revenue of over $1 million at the end of 2018, which is through the sale of devices alone, because we have several revenue models, as I said, subscription versus and so on. So our revenue will even be higher. So you have the potential to be the next $1 billion startup. All of us do. So make sure to, if you can't remember all the advices, rewind the video and listen to all the advices and take all the good points that you think that suits you, and build your startup, build your dream. And that will be all from us, from HybriteQ. We wish you all the very best, all the youngsters out there.
And don't give up at any time. That's and have the self-confidence and believe in what you do and love what you do.
And be humble.
Yeah.
All the best.
Yeah.
See you guys. Good night.
Good night.